Welcome to Live Well With Barrie, and this week's wonderful guests are Rosemary Laryea.
Well done.
That's the worst thing to try and pronounce. I get it wrong every time, and this one's even worse. Sherron Mayes. Is that correct?
Yes, thank you.
Yeah, clap to me. Thank you both for joining me. As you can see, this week's show is going to be a lot of fun. Very relaxed. So start with you, Rosemary. Tell me your journey from Ghana and what you do.
Wow, okay.
Because I know you're Ghanaian.
Yes.
And to be honest, I have to interrupt her here. I went to lunch with her, and that is when I realized that she was more than just a sexy chick. She's like smart, clever, and got all this going on. So, yes, wonderful. Let's go.
Okay.
Tell me.
Do you know, my story from Ghana seems like it's going to be a long story, but I'm going to try and keep it brief. So I was born in Ghana,
Right.
okay, and I came over here with my 3 brothers because my dad realised that in those days education was free,
Right.
and in Ghana education wasn't free, and it still isn't free. The standard is a lot higher, but it's not recognised. Yeah, so
is it still not free there?
Still not free.
Okay.
You have to have money to be educated.
Right.
So he came here on a business trip and realised that education was free. So he thought, you know what, I have no money to actually, get all my children through education system in Ghana. It's free over here, so that's why we came over here. So, but we came here quite young, and obviously after our degrees and what have you, this country became our home. But originally I wanted to be an actress because the TV fascinated me. I come from a family who didn't have money, so we never saw television when I was in Ghana. But coming over here, I saw television. And I was just like, that is so cool, and how do you get in that box? And then I also thought, but where are the black folk in this box?
But also, wanting to have that career, as you know, with black parents in the 60s, 70s, how well was that received? I don't suppose it was very well received.
Unbelievably, my parents were behind me, which is really bizarre because, I said, we came here to be educated. So from an African country, and an African family, it's the doctor, the lawyer, the accountant, all those type of things. And it was, my father's family back in Ghana were really outraged that my parents were fine with me wanting to go on this path of being an actress. They were like,
yeah, because that seems quite artistic as opposed to academic, which they usually are.
And also, why go?
Accountant.
And why go all the way to England to be an actress? Go there, get a degree in law, get a degree, be a doctor, all this. But so my family, my parents, like I said, surprisingly were behind me on this. I think because they saw how passionate I was.
Right.
And so, and my dad just said to me, okay, just do up to your A-levels and then I'll try and get you into RADA and what have you. Then 11th hour, he had a change of mind. He said, look, too many actors, actresses have got their degrees, they haven't got a job. What a wonderful, wonderful insight he had, right? Because look at all the reality programs we have now. So he asked me to do something academic, and I had no other interest but acting. But he was adamant that I wasn't going to go into acting by now. He said, do something academic, have something to fall back on, just in case you don't become this actress that you feel you're going to become. So I chose computer studies because it was the future. I knew I was able to get some money in it. I didn't even know what a computer looked like. I thought...
But were you interested in it?
No, of course not.
No.
No, I didn't know what a computer looked like.
So it was like penance, really?
Yes, it was. I thought the VDU screen was the computer. I didn't realise the computer was a separate thing. So I had no idea. So I went to do computer science because I knew it was the future.
Right.
But I was part of the drama society. So while my peers were in the university pub, I was learning lines and everything, and I was being a thespian, and I loved it. But then I did really well with the degree that I did. So I got a 2-1 classification. So I thought, you know what? Thank you. So I thought, let me work in this thing. Let me see where this thing might take me to. But I knew that I didn't want to just sit in front of the machine and communicate with the machine. So I wanted to be more of a consultant.
Right.
And those are the jobs that I did. I became a computer consultant.
Different place, most days,
Yes,
different people,
talking
new
to
energy.
people.
Yeah.
Talking to people about what the computer can do for them and for their business. That's what
Rather
excited
than
me.
tedious going to the same
Yeah.
office every day and same
Yeah.
people.
But then I knew, obviously, then I wanted to do those type of roles because it was still presenting, wasn't it? Because I wanted to be on television, didn't I? But then it was really weird because then the TV desire went right out the window. But it was interesting that I still chose roles that I was standing in front of conferences and exhibitions and, boardrooms.
You're still performing.
Always.
Still performing.
Yeah. So I did that. I did that for 12 years.
Right.
And my last job was with IBM. I looked after UK, Ireland, and Amsterdam. I was a product marketing manager, and I travelled quite a bit. And when I was pregnant with our first child, I decided then,
Enough's enough.
when I was going on maternity leave and I was saying goodbye to everybody, I knew I was.
You weren't coming back.
I didn't know how I was going to go into the media, but I just knew I was not going to go back into IT. So after 12 years, it's a nice scenic route, didn't I? After 12 years, I decided that I'll just bide my time and go
jump
to
it. Yeah. And you, Sharon, it's nice to have you because South London originally.
Yes, that's true. I used to live in New Cross.
Used to live in New Cross, born in Peckham.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, I'm originally a Forest Hill boy, so special
I
welcome
went to
to
Sydenham
you.
Girls' School, so up the road from Forest Hill.
Sydenham, right? Okay. So then you moved from Sydenham and went where?
I went to New Cross.
Okay.
Had my own flat after school, and then I eventually moved to Bath, and now I live in Berkshire.
Nice.
Hampshire and
Wow.
Berkshire.
So what made the move there? Was that your parents? You decided to move and go somewhere else? Or
I wanted to get out of London
okay.
and be somewhere nice atmosphere.
But
And
I wanted
Bath is
to be
lovely.
I wanted to be a writer, and I thought it would be conducive and inspiring. And
so what age was that? Did you do that?
I was about 27.
And already you decided then you wanted to be a writer.
Yes.
What were you up until that stage?
Oh God, I've done so many jobs. I've been a holiday rep. I've been a recruitment consultant. I used to be a secretary. All that kind of stuff. And then from school, I wanted to be a writer.
Yeah.
But I never had the confidence, and then it just kind of came about, really, coincidence.
Okay, so what was the first thing you wrote?
The first thing I wrote was I had an idea for people that I was on a tube train and somebody jumped onto the train, and everything was stopped and whatever, and I just was inspired to write about it. So I had this idea to write about people that jumped onto tube trains and survived. So I thought it was a different angle. So my first article was for Time Out. And I remember I was working as a secretary near Great Ormond Street, and I was using the fax machine, and I was just starting out, and I didn't want to show that I was starting out. So somebody said to me at Time Out, like, well, are you a doctor then? And I said, no. Why? They said, well, you've got Great Ormond Street on your fax paper. And I said, I'm just doing some writing for them. And they were like, oh, right, okay.
Very good use of that opportunity.
Yeah. So that was my first article. My second article was how to treat agoraphobia with reflexology, which was for the Daily Mail in their health section.
It does sound like you're a doctor.
So now, what was your background to be able to write that article, or did you just research it?
No, I didn't have any. I mean, it's just, I'd always had an aptitude for writing, and I just sold ideas over the phone, got them commissioned, and...
But one of those subjects, because it's almost as if you are from the medical profession.
I think I'm always interested in health and what makes people tick, so it was always that kind of a thing. And then at the time, there was a big section in magazines and papers on health and self and sort of things like shopaholics and why do people do that and what motivates you. So it was all that kind of...
psyche.
And at the time in the Daily Mail, they kind of started this whole thing of self, health and female. So there was a lot of stuff that you could do on psychology and it was a big market. So one time, for example, for the Mail, I just woke up and had this dream which was completely bizarre, yin yang energy. So it was about how women may have like a male yang energy depending on the way they use their brain, and men may use their feminine side, and how you need to bring them both together. And I remember telling the commissioning editor of health, and he said, I don't know what you're talking about, but I'll commission it. So I did a quiz, and they made a headline spread.
Right, so you put this quiz, people would answer, and then it would say, well,
yeah, they were
he's
doing it
using
male, apparently, because the guy
more
said,
of
did you
his
get a
female
psychologist?
brain, or she's using more of her male brain from the responses.
Yeah, I got
Okay.
some case studies together about how they sort of reacted to things and said like, oh, I'm more yang energy, and somebody said I'm more yin because I'm a sculptor, but I can't sell my work, you know. So the whole thing was about bringing the two sides of your brain together so that you can use the intuitive yin energy, feminine energy, which is the ideas and creativity, the right side of the brain, with the yang, which is the active selling your work or being proactive about things. So it's about needing both, really. So I got case studies together, did this quiz, and yeah, I remember the health editor said, did you get a psychologist to do it? And I went, no, I did it. And he went, oh, right, we're all doing it in the office. So that was quite hard.
So, Rosemary, back to you with your journey after 12 years in IT. Deciding, I want to be in media by hook or by crook. What was the first step?
It was a sister-in-law of mine who actually asked me if I was interested in radio. And radio wasn't what I wanted to do initially. I just wanted to be on television, yes, initially. And I said, radio? No, don't fancy radio. And she said, well, I think it's actually quite a good thing, she said. Because by now I had 2 young children. She said to me, she's looking at it in a very logical way for me to drop the children off at school, go and do my radio show, and then go and collect the children. And that's exactly what I ended up doing. It was the most amazing thing. She wasn't in radio, but she was just thinking, well...
That's how it would work.
She was just thinking, yeah. And she said to me, listen, I found out about an organisation who train women for radio jobs, and it's specifically women. And they wanted women from the ethnic minority because they felt there weren't enough.
So when and where was this?
Well, they're called Women's Radio Group. Unfortunately, they don't exist any longer, which is such a shame.
I was going to say, that's
It's
a shame.
such a
because I know very
shame.
few people that would really benefit from that.
Absolutely, and it was brilliant. You know, they were funded. Their niche market were women and women from the ethnic minority background. And the courses used to start at 10 o'clock to allow us to take our children to the nursery, and they'll finish at 2 to allow us to go and collect them. It was perfect. So off I went, still not thinking anything about radio, but then I loved it. I loved the idea of just being in the studio with the trainers and jogging bottoms. No one has to see you, because in my previous roles, I was always had to be suited and makeup and all the rest of it, you know. So, and I just thought, whoa, fabulous. So I took to it and I loved it. And when we did the course, after 6 weeks, before I knew, on the 7th week, I was doing a radio show for the organisers of Women's Radio Group. And then I met a girl who was a producer at Colourful Radio. She felt Colourful Radio like my style. And that's how I went with Colourful Radio.
Yeah, because you've got a great radio sounding voice.
Thank you.
Not everybody has that. Some of the voices are quite jarring, but yours is quite even keeled.
Thank you.
So when did you start with your first radio show?
I first started actually with a community radio station. Then it was called Life FM.
Right.
Then it became Bang Radio. Now it's called The Beat.
Ah,
yes.
Mr. Etienne.
Yeah, indeed. So he's looking after it now, as you know. So that's where I started off, learning the ropes, because they were looking for volunteers. So after I did that radio course, I started with them.
Right.
And then I was doing some stuff with them, and I was also doing some stuff with Colourful Radio. So Colourful Radio, I was a regular guest, as you were, and I was doing parental stuff. You know, when you're a new parent, you feel that you have so many wonderful ideas about parenting.
Yeah.
And at the time, I sold this, this pitch. I gave a pitch to Colourful Radio about they needed a parenting expert on their broadcast, and they bought the idea. So I used to do that. So I used to do my show at Life FM, and then go to Colourful Radio. Used to be based in Battersea those days, and then rush from northwest London to South London to go and do something on Colourful Radio. Yeah, until I eventually got my own show at Colourful.
So where is Colourful Radio?
Now I believe they're at the Africa Centre.
Because I thought they were in Vauxhall.
They used to be in
Right.
Vauxhall. So when I was with them, we were in Vauxhall. Then from
Right.
Vauxhall, they moved to Oval, not far from here.
Yeah.
And then from Oval, they're at the Africa Centre.
Okay.
Yeah.
So your first book, Sharon, I have to get the pronunciation correct. Or I'll be told off. Your first book. When did you write your first book?
So the first book I wrote was called Be Your Own Psychic. That came
Is this
out,
a self-help book?
It's a self-help book, and that came out, let me think, actually came out 15 years ago. With Hodgkin Stout, some really big publishers.
You don't look old enough.
I was 10. But I don't like to talk about it. But basically, yeah, it was some sort of inspired idea about bringing everything together, and it was an interactive book full of quizzes, and again it's about using both sides of your brain and how to develop your intuition in a kind of practical way.
Right.
So, we all know about The Secret. This was kind of before The Secret came out. So this was about how you manifest visualizations, being really creative in terms of what you want in your life and focusing and stuff like that. So, but it's very practical as well. So it's a bit of NLP in it, neuro-linguistic programming. So
Thank you for explaining that.
in case.
I had no idea.
In case something. So it did really well. It was a bestseller. Actually, sold 70,000 copies.
That's super.
In Norway as well, Thailand, and in the US. And
When was that?
15 years ago.
15 years ago.
Well, that's when it started to came out, and then it started to.
Right.
I had a serialization in the mail as well, which was good. So, but then I kind of, journalism has always been my thing. Obviously I brought a lot of different ideas and did case studies in that book, which is what I've kind of always geared up with journalism, finding real life case studies to talk about things.
And where are you getting these real life cases from?
A lot of it comes from just talking to people. I'm quite chatty, so I'll talk to people on the train, and people who know people.
Yes, because to get that kind of information, you have to be a people person and quite comfortable to talk. And
also I used to
Just
liaise
listen.
with producers and people when they did the Kilroy Silk show.
yes.
When that was
Yes,
out,
yes.
and all those kind of lifestyle shows. So that I would talk to producers if I saw an interesting story. We would liaise, and talk radio would liaise with those people as well. And I did a piece, for example, with them on Talk Radio just because they were talking about first cousins who married, so I did a piece on that, and it kind of all flows together. Everybody's sort of likes to hear about. That's why we love movies and books, isn't it? Because everybody loves to know people's stories.
Stories, that's
And
right.
it's all about, in a way, I think stories are really creative because we get to put ourselves in someone else's shoes through their experience that we're reliving. And I think that's actually very healing, and it also gives us a way of understanding other people and what they go through.
Yes.
So you, madam, after Colourful, where did you go from there?
Jazz FM. So I went from
That's
speech
where I remember
to
you.
music.
I don't remember you on Colourful at all.
Oh, wow, I was there for 4 years.
I don't remember you on
So
Colourful at all.
That's terrible.
It's
isn't it?
terrible.
That's
That's
insulting.
terrible. So I produced and presented an arts and culture show, and I loved it because the beauty of producing your own show, getting who you want on the show, is just everyone's ideal, isn't it? Because I only got people who I felt were interested in the show. So if I was interested in it,
Like
it
yourself.
resonated, didn't it, on the airwaves? So it was
That's right.
wonderful. I loved it. So 4 years, and like I said, I
How
loved
long were you at Jazz FM?
a year and a half.
Okay.
And it's funny because people who know me used to say to me, "Are you sure you want to go on Jazz FM?" Because I like talking.
Yeah.
I like interviewing people.
Yeah.
And I said, no, it's good. It's great. It was meant to be. Let me go for it. But and at Jazz FM, so I'll do a daytime show, and on Fridays I used to interview authors. Do you know I used to live for Fridays?
Really?
I should have gone on your show.
I should have done if I'd known you.
If
see?
you'd known you.
But I used to live for Fridays. Just long.
Because that's when you're doing what you really love,
Yeah.
talking, interviewing, interacting.
And I love music. I've grown up with music, but there are so many wonderful stories out there, wonderful people out there, And that's what I was always so proud of, giving them a platform for not only for me to understand what's going on in their world, but for the listeners to understand what's going on in their world. So I've always loved that. So from Colourful Radio, I went to Jazz FM, and I was doing my TV show as well, and that was an arts and culture show.
Yes,
and again, I produced that as well. So
that was OTV.
OTV. So that was called Culture Vultures.
Yes.
And that again was wonderful.
Good name.
Yeah. Selecting who you want on your show. Wonderful creatives. So we did fashion, we had film, we had art.
Eclectic, just, yeah.
And I had contributors as well. So I had a film person, film reviewer. I had a fashion reviewer. I had someone who used to go and, eat food in the restaurant and tell us all about
That would be me.
That
would be me.
And there was always one major spotlight. But yeah, so it was good. I really enjoyed it.
So second book is the novel, one of the novels, is it?
I've turned my hand to writing fiction
Right.
now, just because I like to torment myself, because writing fiction
As
is
we
not
do.
easy. Yeah, and I wanted another challenge, and I was inspired to write a true life story about a girl I interviewed who was a very pretty teenager who ended up having a car crash. She was quite vain and ended up in a wheelchair, and her whole life changed. And it's about how her journey then begins. Everything gets uprooted. So I really wanted to write that, and then I've got a book coming out in September the 19th, which is called Letters to the Pianist, which is again based on certain true life events to do with Hitler and to do with the Second World War. So it's a suspense story, really about a Jewish family whose house is bombed in the Blitz, and he loses his memory, the father, and they get split up from the children. But he ends up marrying into a family of Nazi sympathisers, but doesn't realise because he's got no memory.
This sounds good.
So as the truth comes out, he realises he's in terrible danger. So again, it's like fiction telling stories, a bit like listening to people's stories that you were saying.
Yes.
It's like within those stories, there's a truth, isn't there?
Yes.
And we can sort of connect with that.
I'm actually interested in how you decide what to write, because you've spoken about 3 books. They're very distinct genres.
Yeah.
So how do you decide what you're going to write?
The second book, Stop the World, was very much inspired by a girl I interviewed 12 years ago, whose story always stayed with me. Because I just thought, wow, because she went on to have a baby and meet somebody online, and that really inspired me. It's not a biography of her story, but it's certainly inspired by that. And I just thought, wow, for people that go through a major, because you know what it's like in life, you have a choice, something traumatic happens to you and you either sink or swim. Yeah. And I really admired
and whichever choice you make, you're making the choice that you think is the best one at the time.
Exactly.
With the knowledge and experience you have.
But her strength inspired me, because she was paraplegic, and I thought, wow, and then to meet somebody online and to find love, and then she finds a whole new way of valuing things, so that I was just completely inspired. And Letters to the Pianist was inspired by my mum, because they were orphaned in the Second World War when they were bombed in the Blitz, and her parents were upstairs, as parents were in those days, because it was safer to be downstairs, and her parents were killed outright. And the 3 of them were then orphans. So it was kind of inspired by the basis of that, really. Because you just can't imagine when you go back, and it's not that long ago, and you think how people lived when it was literally like, you don't know who's going to die that night. The Blitz was just awful, wasn't it? It's like it was just millions and millions of people that were just.
I always say no one ever wins a war.
No, exactly. So I was inspired by that, really.
So Rosemary, where are you at now? Having left Jazz FM, what are your new projects?
Okay, so I write for the Voice newspaper, so I do some arts and cultures there for them. But my main project, I've got a couple of main projects.
Exactly.
I develop documentaries for Radio 4. So at the moment, we've got a couple that have been commissioned, which I'm working on, which is really exciting. I'm going to start doing some continuity as well for BBC One. I've wanted to do that years ago. I always thought, how do they do that? Why they and why not me, sort of thing. So we
So
start.
continuity is making sure everything is.
Sorry, continuity announcing. Sorry, I should have explained.
Okay.
So, when you watch television, say maybe you watch EastEnders, and after EastEnders there's Panorama. At the end, you hear a voice
that's
doing the outro,
yes.
and then linking you to the next program. So that's a continuity announcer. So
Right.
they're voice artists, really.
Yeah.
They call them continuity announcers.
See, I told you
So-
you have that voice.
Yeah, you do.
Thanks.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so I'm going to be doing that, which is quite exciting. And the studio is not far from where I am in Wembley, so that's really handy. And I'm also a company director of a theatre company. Remember I told you about? I love acting.
Yes, the theatre company.
Now, I no longer want to be an actress, but I love theatre and I love live theatre. So I feel very, very blessed to have been, given this position. So the theatre production company are called Crying in the Wilderness Productions, and we have this concept called Theatre of the Soul. And what it is, when you go to the theatre, you expect people to act. But what we do, apart from or in addition to the acting, there's also live music, there's also film, there's also miming. So you have different disciplines so that you can try to understand the life, the inner character of the protagonist.
Right.
So we're using different mediums for you as the audience to actually feel what they're going through, and it's just the most
So even though
amazing thing.
you don't want to be on the stage anymore, you're still inspiring and encouraging those who do to keep going and do better and do more and help them along.
Yeah, I love it.
And yourself now, Sharon, where are you at? What are your next projects?
Oh God, I don't
Or are
know.
you just taking a rest?
Well, no, because Letters is out in September, and you know what it's like when new projects come out. You're then doing a lot of publicity and promotion, and so it's doing all that,
Right.
website and all that kind of thing. And
So a collective question for you. When you're stressed, tired, exhausted, what do you do to look after yourself, both physically and mentally? Because I think that's quite important. What is your thing?
Yeah, I was diagnosed with high blood pressure about 3 years ago. And for those who know me, didn't think it was unusual, that diagnosis, because they felt I was just had too much of a busy lifestyle. So I started walking every single day. Where I live is very hilly. And so because I didn't want to take medication for the rest of my life. My mum had it for 50 odd years. Didn't want those toxic chemicals in me. And I still do. I still walk every single day, and I clearly, the mind.
So that works physically and mentally for you.
Yes, and I find I get very creative as well when I walk. And I've also started doing meditations as well. So I've done a couple of meditation courses. There's a great organisation called Inner Space. They do all these courses for free because they believe that you shouldn't have to pay for your well-being. And I enrolled on those things so I can just
where is that based?
They're all over the place, but my nearest one is in Wembley, which is empty. But they're in Covent Garden.
Centre of the university.
Exactly. Everything goes on in Wembley. They do head massages as well, just because they realise everyone is just so stressed. So I walk and I meditate, and I just have like a little ritual, devotional stuff in the mornings. I like that. The one with the all.
So we do this every day, or do we?
Every day. I'm just so grateful that I'm connecting much more to the all, to God. And I'm more grateful these days that I know what my purpose is and why I'm here and how I hope to actually interact with people.
Because it is quite difficult. A lot of people can go through life actually not reaching or attaining their vocation. So they've just gone through doing one thing after the other, which is they kind of quite enjoy ambling through, but they don't really find that thing that is their everything. That is the first thing they think about in the morning and the last thing they think about at night.
Yeah.
So you're quite lucky to have found that.
Yeah, because we all have a gift, don't we? We all have a gift.
That's it, but it's actually
and
finding it.
finding that gift.
It's funny
And
because
we confuse what is an interest with a gift.
Yeah.
Because you're interested, it doesn't necessarily mean that's your
it.
gift or
That's right.
your
That's
vocation.
And also confusing our job with our gift, because
That's
a lot
it.
of the times we might use some of our gift within our job.
Mm.
So if we lose our job, we might think, oh my gosh, what's your
Yeah,
job?
it's a bit
But
ambiguous.
your gift stays with you. So
Yeah.
so when you know your gift, it doesn't matter really.
But the walking thing also, so much better for you physically, mentally, as you said, than jumping in a car and driving everywhere. But you connect with what's going on around you.
And it's free.
Yes.
Yeah, you connect with what's going on. You realize and notice things that you didn't notice just sitting in the car, blindly looking at traffic lights in the car in front of you.
Yeah.
Yeah. So you, Sharon, what do you do to look after yourself?
Very similar actually, but when you were talking about
mentally.
gift, I was thinking of what Steven Spielberg said recently. I heard him say recently, which is when you have a gift, actually, your inner self talks to you, but it comes as a whisper. It doesn't come in a really loud voice, and you have to quieten yourself and listen to the whisper, and then you find out your pathway and your purpose.
I think that's what Oprah said once, didn't she? Sometimes you just have to be still.
Yes.
Yeah.
You just have to quieten yourself down, be still, and listen to what.
Yeah, and I do very similar to you. I walk, I meditate, and I try and pamper myself now and again. Have a massage,
The pampering
Look
is
after
essential.
myself,
The
yeah.
pampering is essential.
Yes.
because you have to give back to yourself.
Yes.
Otherwise, you get burnt
Yes.
out. Don't you?
Absolutely, because especially when you're in jobs that are giving, you're everything. And I feel that a lot of the time because my job from the minute I wake up is, hi, how are you? You okay? Can I get up? At the end of the day, you don't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
And people think you're antisocial. It's just that, no, I've been talking from 6 o'clock in the morning. It's even my job is hurting.
Yeah.
And I love to talk, trust me.
Yeah.
I cannot keep up with this one here. Trust me. So please tell us the theatre company name again so that people can check it out.
Yes, please do check it out. Crying in the Wilderness Productions.
And do you get people of all ages taking part in that?
What it is, because we're a production company, we get commissioned. So you get commissioned to put something on. So we've got a couple of commissions for this year. One at the Rich Mix and one at the Arcola Theatre.
Lovely theatre, the Arcola. I love it.
In America as well. So and we do creative learning as well, specifically for children. And a lot of our creative learning programs are actually, they really help the child or identify who they are as opposed to who they feel they need to be, with all the media stuff that's going around. So it's a wonderful journey of self-discovery and self-acceptance. That's what we do at the end of the day. So it's all about your well-being.
So is there a website for them?
Yes, all the W's.cryinginthewildernessproductions.com.
Say it again.
Cryinginthewildernessproductions.com. Very long.
Okay.
Good.
It sticks in your mind, actually.
Yeah.
And you, Sharon, how can we get in contact with you and your products, your books? Do you have a website?
Yeah, www.sherronmayes.com.
Get it right, Sherron Mayes.
SHERRON.
Yeah.
But Letters to the Pianist will be coming out under SD Mayes. And I'm on Twitter under Author Mayes. So Author Mayes. Basically, if you think of Author Mayes.
Could you say that again for us, please?
Author Mayes.
Okay. Just so we're sure.
Letters to the Pianist is the new book that's coming out in September.
Okay, we look forward to it. Thank you both so much for joining me. It was nice to chat with you and taking time out of your day to come and gibberish with me. Thank you. Take care.